Stuart Walker, our 2015 Nonboater Power Pole Bream Angler of the Year. Firstly, congratulations on a great season.
Thank you very much.
You've had a busy year. You fished all of the qualifiers and you're here at the grand final. You're only a newbie to bream fishing. It's not something that you've been doing for a very long time. How did you get into it?
I was invited by a friend to try it. He said I'd probably enjoy it, and I certainly do enjoy it. It's very good.
So when did you fish your first bream event?
I think it was the last qualifier in 2012 at Lake Macquarie, and didn't catch a fish on the first day and caught two legal bream on the second day, and got sort of hooked after that. Never have imagined how hard it would be to catch 5 legal fish. You would have thought it's really easy, but
that's the challenge and the conundrum of tournament fishing. It's much harder than it looks.
Indeed it is.
Now, the Angler of the Year points race was very close, as it usually does. It came down to the last events, and you won AOY by a mere 1 point over Grayson Fong. What was the highlight of your year?
I think the beginning of the year, the Tweed, I snuck in with a victory there by the smallest of margins, and then the second event here at the Clarence, and finished in the top 10. I got a 5th here, so I had a really good start to the season. Gippsland didn't go really good for me. It's a hard place to fish, and my results showed that. Malakuta wasn't too bad, but the Hawkesbury I had a real shocker at the Hawkesbury, so I was quite nervous on day 2 way in there. There was a couple of other guys, Simon and Bradley, who were fairly close behind me as well, so it was quite nerve-wracking.
So was Hawkesbury the low light for you of the year?
Yep, for sure, yeah. Really struggled.
But ultimately it was the event that gave you the victory.
Yes, yeah, well, that's right.
So it's always a challenge trying something new for the first time. How did you go about making the transition as easy as it possibly can be to learn how to bream fish? Did you spend a lot of time with an experienced bream fisher? Did you read as many articles as you could? How did you expedite that learning process?
I think you certainly helped with the ABT website. Like, reading the articles there of how the guys who win the tournaments, how they've gone about it and what they've done, that certainly helps. But being a non-boater, you're in quite a unique position where you get to fish with some very talented anglers, and every time you go out with someone different, there's new techniques, there's different ways to do things, different gear. I think you pick up a little bit every single time, and if you can accumulate all of that, sometimes it comes together for you on the day, and yeah, it's all worth it.
I hear it a lot from people who are standing on the sideline and they want to get into tournament fishing, and especially bream fishing, and they say, I'm not good enough to make that step. I always tell them, if you want to get better, you need to make that step, because this is the best place to learn.
Exactly.
Anybody you'd like to thank for your year?
Well, first of all, I had a different boater every single event, and I'd like to thank those guys. Every single one of them was a pleasure to fish with, all really good guys. The sponsors who help out throughout the year obviously make this event tick over, but I suppose it's the ABT boys, you guys, which should get the most thanks. Obviously without the effort you boys put in, we wouldn't be here doing what we're doing. So
we enjoyed, mate, and it's nice to see people like yourself succeed. Tell us a little bit about Stu Walker, the brimmer. If you have a day on the water, what's your go-to technique? What do you love doing more than anything?
Z-Man grubs for me over the last 12 to 18 months have really sort of become my go-to lure. I quite fancy myself with a jackal chubby down at Malakuta. But yeah, it's the Z-Man grubs at the moment, which should be what I pick up first and foremost.
I gather you've had a look at the calendar for 2016 and all the venues that we're going to?
Yes.
Have you started booking in holidays? What events are you looking forward to?
The Victorian ones again. I'm really keen to really succeed at Gippsland. I know it's a hard place, but I'll give that a crack again. Malakuta is always a great place to fish. Tasmania would be the highlight.
For bream junkies, it is definitely the mecca.
Yeah.
The Derwent event in particular, it's the hardest event to get into of all the events that we run. Even when the weather is atrocious, the fishing can be red hot. So if you're going to lock in any event, I recommend doing that one. Anything you want to add before we finish for 2015?
I think you've covered just about everything, Simon. I'm just grateful to be here. It's a very well-run event, and yeah, very happy to be sitting here.
Well,
So
our
thanks very
pleasure,
much.
mate. Congratulations on a successful 2015 Power Pole Angler of the Year. Merry Christmas. Enjoy the rest of the year, and we'll see you in 2016.
Thanks, Simon.